Hey guys, welcome to BatchTV. My name's Landree
And I'm Phil Sundahl.
And in this video, we're going to be walking you through all of the game-changing features within BatchLeads 3.0. Check this out.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us for our BatchLeads 3.0 launch webinar. I'm Phil.
I'm Landree.
And we're glad you could join us today to talk about our biggest upgrade ever in BatchLeads. We've got tons of new features, brand new plans, all designed to help you take your real estate business to the next level. So for today's agenda, number one, Landree and I are going to take you through all of the latest new features in BatchLeads 3.0 so you understand how they all work and how you can use them. Then number two, we're going to take you through the new plans and the new subscriptions, the new pricing, so you can understand which plan is going to be right for you and your business. And then third, we're going to open it up for Q&A. So if you have any questions throughout the webinar, please use that Q&A box at the bottom of the control panel, and we promise you we'll get to them at the end of the webinar. So I do want to note too that today's webinar is being recorded. So afterwards, if you miss anything, we will email you a link to the recording so you can catch up, share the news, whatever you'd like to do. So without further ado, let's get into it. Landree, talk to us about our first big new feature with BatchLeads 3.0, which is driving for dollars.
Yes, so super excited about this. Everything with driving for dollars, you're going to have it virtually in the desktop, and then any day now we'll have the mobile app up and running where you can take it out on the go, where you can pull a list, track your routes, and have your whole team in there, which is going to be really nice. But we're going to start off just by showing you guys how it's going to work within the virtual side of things on your computer. So everybody has access to this in the new 3.0 plans. Super excited about it. So let's go to driving routes in the menu. It's just going to take you to a map, so you can either zoom in or out to find where you're wanting to start driving, or you can search a location that's something pretty specific for what you're looking for. So we're just going to go to Phoenix just to show you how that would work. Click search. And then a few really great things that you want to start looking for if you're new to driving for dollars is, especially with the virtual side of things, since you're not actually out in front of the property, you want to take the time to scope out the neighborhood. So look in the backyards, look for empty or green pools, damaged roofs, overgrown landscape, something that's being not very taken care of, maybe excess cars in the backyard, the list goes on and on. So in Phoenix,
and that's because the satellite views, right, are updated more often than a lot of the street views, right? So that's going to be your most up-to-date view of those properties before you jump in.
Exactly. So in places like Phoenix, they tend to have the virtual view a lot more updated, but in other places like, over on the East Coast, you might run into places that haven't been updated in a while. So it's so important to just scope it out the backyards first before you jump down so you can have a little bit more confidence if that property's in distress or not. So let's just zoom into this and see what we can find. So like I mentioned, looking for those damaged roofs, distress indicators, the more you find the better usually. So I'm going to go to this neighborhood and let's see what's going on here. All right, another great thing is vacant lots. So if that's what you're looking for, you could scope that out before instead of dropping down and taking forever to find something. So I'm gonna drop down here. Lots of trash is going on in lots of people's backyards, a few vacant lots. And then you'll just drag this little Google guide down onto a blue line. And as soon as you drop down here, before you move at all, we recommend starting your route. This way, the system can keep track of where you've been already, so you're not going down the same streets over and over again. Such a time saver. So click the little car in the bottom right-hand corner, and now you're tracking. So any properties you add, which we're going to go into, are going to be saved on your route along with how long you drove, the mileage of that, and this will apply for everybody that you add into your BatchLeads account as well, so you can keep up with that and manage it.
Not only does this save time, but it saves gas too, right?
I know, right? Yeah, especially. So great point with that. So just being in the comfort of your own home, being able to do this is such a nice thing to just be able to pull up on your computer. And then once again, just really utilizing that satellite view hand in hand with this is going to be a game changer so that you have, once again, more confidence in that. All right, so all you have to do is just click the little arrow on the road and you can move down the street. And when you find a property that you'd like to add to your account, all you have to do is sit right in front of it, click on the house number, usually right above the roof, and you can get a quick glance at some of the details where you can save it and get a little bit more insight on it. Use the comping tool right in front of the property as if I'm there get their contact information by skip tracing them, and I can even do a phone call, which Phil's going to go into. Let's just save this for now. So I'm going to go and add it to a list I already have in my account, just called Virtual Driving for Dollars. Makes it really easy for me to add. And then if you're familiar with adding your properties to lists and tags at this point in your account, I think of adding your tags in a little bit of a different way when you're virtually driving. This way I can actually be looking at more of like the distress indicators, the condition of the property, rather than maybe the area. So maybe with this one, I noticed that there's peeling paint or it's chipping paint on the outside. So I'm just going to create a tag and let's just say peeling paint. Maybe they have a damaged roof. I could add a tag for that on different properties. They have poor landscape and so on. So being able to keep track of that, and when I go back to my list later, I can pull up all those properties that had those distress indicators. So once you're done, all you do is, oh my gosh, let me just close that. So once you're done, all you have to do is just click the little car again, and where you can stop or pause your route, and it can pick you right back where you started if you need to come back to it later. But let's just go ahead and save that. And it keeps track of, once again, the mileage, the properties you added, and the time you drove. So you can keep track of yourself and all of your drives and everybody in your team. Super easy being able to see that on the map and what properties you added along the way right here. So all of that will be accessible within this spot.
So virtual driving for dollars, this isn't just for wholesaling or looking at distressed properties. This is for anyone going door to door, for agents looking for new listings, for home services companies, right, roofers, HVAC, pool services companies, right? You can see those pools, filter by those pools, and do your walking and knocking virtually to build your business, right? So we're really excited about this. Hope it saves a lot of time, a lot of money, and really helps you just have more conversations more efficiently.
Yeah, exactly. And I just can't wait for the mobile app as well, for everybody that likes to get out and about, actually be in front of them, being able to stand right there and get all of the same property information.
Yeah, so when that mobile app is released, which should be any day now in the App Store, a really cool thing is you can actually pick up your routes on the desktop and in mobile, vice versa, right? So if you're tracking routes on your mobile device and you have automatic route tracking on, when you get home, you can pull those routes out on the desktop, re-explore those properties, add them to your list, campaigns, whatever you need to do.
Exactly. Love it.
And speaking of having more conversations, is it time to talk about our next feature?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Can't wait for this one. You guys are going to love this.
So we have added click to dial, in-app click to dial to BatchLeads 3.0. And that is exactly what it sounds like. You can click on any property owner's contact information and call them directly through the app. So anywhere you see a phone number, whether it's on an individual property profile, which Landree will show you here, this also works actually on your lists too. So if you've skipped traced properties, you've got their phone numbers in your My List section, you can click through and call those just by clicking on them. So we're actually going to test this here, actually with our producer's property. Hey Alex, how's it going? So we've got Alex's property profile open here. We've skip traced this property to get that highly accurate contact information that Batch is known for. And we're just going to click on this phone number. Watch this, guys. Are we ready to call? Yes, we are. We're going to click call now. In the moment of truth, I have Alex's phone here.
And there you go. Just like that. You can open the dial pad, pause the call, mute it, and leave a voicemail as well, which is so awesome.
So yeah, guys, click to dial. This is all about saving you time, right? So before you skip trace a number, you have to pull out your phone, punch it in, double check it, make that call. No more. One of the great things about the in-app click to dial that's included with most of our plans in BatchLeads 3.0 is that there is no setup that you have to do here. As soon as you open your account and sign in for the first time, you'll automatically have a number set up and provisioned and ready to go. So you literally log in, click, and call. So this allows you to place more calls, keeps you from juggling your phone, switching between tools. I do want to say that for those of you who are doing high volume outbound, like making hundreds to thousands of dials per day, say you have VAs or other agents or dispo partners, you still want to use Batch Dialer for that. This is really designed for the individual prospector, right? You're making a couple dozen calls a day, maybe you're on the go and you just want to quickly connect with that homeowner. This is perfect for that. But again, for those of you guys doing high volume outbound, you do want to still consider Batch Dialer, which you can integrate with to make those calls.
Exactly.
So again, this works on the individual property profile. It also works if you're looking at lists. Anywhere that a phone number exists in Batch Leads, just click and you can now call. I do want to say too, there's interesting insights here that we've brought into BatchLeads 3.0. So if you look at our numbers here, if Landree hovers over, we're going to get all of the carrier and DNC information, right? So is this on the national DNC list? Are they verified? Are they reachable? All of these insights are just on this hover over here before you make those calls. You can be sure that you're compliant and that you're going to be connected.
Exactly. Love being able to do that. And then last thing, kind of just to kind of point out on top of that, is when you're starting to use click to dial, you can, after giving that phone number a call, so let's say that Alex answered, our awesome producer, and I talked with him and that call went great, I can come in and click this edit button, and I can change this from unknown, which is just the default setting on all the phone numbers, and say, hey, I verified this phone number. So the next time I come back to this property, I don't have to be questioning, did I call this phone number? Did they say not to call them back? What happened with that? And then just remembering to use other tools in your hand in hand, like the lead status. Did I set up an appointment with them? Do I want to leave notes on how that call went? So don't forget to use all of these things on top of these new features that you're already used to or are going to be jumping into, and move on to the next property so you know which ones you haven't called yet and which ones you have.
Yep. Now, we've made it basically as easy as we possibly can for you to uncover an owner's contact information and connect with them, right? It takes us seconds. It's kind of all one workflow now. But let's talk about now, how do you prioritize who you're going to be calling every day, right? You've got thousands of properties on your list that you could call, but our next feature, lead scoring, which we'll talk about now, is what's going to help you prioritize that outreach every single day on the properties and the homeowner profiles that look most like your best deals and your best opportunities, right? So Landree's going to open up lead scoring now. Well, we'll talk about how we'll set this up. But essentially, how this works fundamentally is, think of your best deals. What are the types of properties you like to work with most? Could be single family, could be built before 1995, could be in a specific area or zip code, it could be a certain type of property owner, a certain age, whatever those characteristics are. Think of what makes what do your best deals look like. We're going to set up lead scoring to assign scores to the records based on those characteristics that make up your perfect opportunities. So Landry, go ahead and walk us through setting up lead scoring so we can prioritize those lists.
Awesome. So you just go to my profile from your name in the top right, and then go over to lead score, and then you'll add a rule. So you can add a bunch here, and I believe we're going to be adding even more things that you can score your leads off of in the future. But right now it's just under property characteristics. So we're going to be going to select an attribute where there's the state, making sure that when I'm looking at my saved properties, that the ones that have points or don't have points are in a specific area. So state, city, the county, the year built, kind of what Phil was referencing here. Let's add this one. I want to go to select operator, and I want to be making sure that the properties that it's going to be scoring are less than the year of 1995. I like to look for older homes. I want to make sure that they need a little bit of love and, might need to have some work put into them. So I'm going to do 1995. And the operation here, you'll either add or subtract points. So it's completely up to you. For me, I kind of like to just add points in here. And if there's something I really don't like, I might subtract something, which I'll show that example. But let's just go ahead and add.
Let's go 20.
Let's do 20.
Yeah, as she's adding these two, I want to talk a little bit about the scoring methodology here. So when you're thinking about how you set up your scores in terms of adding or subtracting points, think of your perfect property, all of those characteristics, you want that to add up to 100. So a lead score of 100 should represent your ultimate best scenario and property type. So as you're thinking about how many points do I add, how many do I subtract, get yourself to the sum of 100, right? So if we're going to add maybe 4 or 5 characteristics here that we all care about equally, we're going to add 10 or 20 points to each, such that if all those boxes are checked, we're at 100.
Exactly. I like that too, because at first you might be thinking, what amount of points should I be adding here? Because it really is up to you. But I like that, just kind of keeping it straightforward as 100. So we're just going to add a couple more rules here. You can see for the property type, I like to be looking for single family residences and mobile or manufactured homes. In this scenario, maybe those tend to be really good deals for me. And then I'm going to select one more rule, and I want to go to pre-foreclosure status. So I really want to make sure that it is equal to true. So it is true that the properties that it's going to place this score on for me are in pre-foreclosure. So we're going to add the operation here, And
It
what
feels
would
like
this
it
be?
deserves a couple extra points.
Yeah,
maybe.
so we're going to place 45 here. That is definitely something that I really like to look for in my prospects. So I'm going to click save. And we're going to check out my list of all of my save data and see what comes up with scores. So in my list, after you have set that scoring up, you'll just go over to this little section that will be automatically shown. I'm just going to open it up so you can see a little bit better. And then you'll just click on this little arrow to flip the list if you want to see what's on the most, or you could filter it out and find properties that have a specific lead score. Really up to you. We're just going to flip this around and see what we got on the most.
All right.
Nice.
Some 85s. Look at that. So these are the ones, when you're thinking about every single day, where do I focus my time? You only have so many hours in a day to outreach, right? So by scoring from highest to least here, you're now focusing on the properties that have the highest propensity to close or willingness to sell. So this should really make you more efficient in your outreach. You should be able to close more deals with less calls if you're utilizing lead scoring.
Exactly. So let's just say, because you were talking about like where do you start your day when you're looking, maybe you are wanting to start doing click to dial and just focus on a few or a couple dozen a day to get through those, or you're thinking about even SMS or direct mail, whatever the case is. Let's just go to the filter so you can see and kind of narrow that down just to the properties that do have a score.
So in this case, you're completely cutting out anything that's below 20 or 40, whatever those lower scores are. And that's a great point too, Landree, that this isn't just about surfacing the best properties to the top so you can focus your outreach there. This is also about list management. I mean, you can take all those, isolate those low score properties that don't have those characteristics and go ahead and just remove them from your list. There's no point in them being there if they don't meet any of the criteria that you care about, right?
Right. Yeah, that's a great point to be thinking about. So I love lead scoring. I think it's an awesome way to, once again, prioritize your day and find the properties in your account that look like your best deals in the past.
Oh, there's one other area we missed for lead scoring too, and that's actually on the property profile.
Oh, yeah.
So if you pull up one of these, Landree, we'll show that the lead score, as well as you guys are familiar with lead status in the top right here, where you can, select your disposition on the property or set a task, but also your lead score is now there as well. So as you're looking at individual property profiles, whether they're saved to a list or not, you're going to get that score up there to let you know how good of a fit is this.
Exactly. I love that too. Great point to bring in. When you're looking for prospects, then you don't have to wonder if it hits all of your criteria because you have that lead scoring already set up.
Mm-hmm. What else do we have to talk about here? Got a long list. So next we're going to talk a little about smart lists. So this is a feature that is coming out, should be in a few weeks here. We'll keep you updated, so check your email, check those release notes. But smart lists is a new way that we've created for you to put your lead generation on autopilot. So many of you guys are logging into BatchLeads every single day or every single week, and you're running those same searches, right? Or hopefully you've customized some of the quick search tiles, right?
Yeah.
So it's a one click there, but you're still having to run those lists every day to identify, hey, are there new properties or new deals potentially here on these lists based on my saved searches? You no longer have to do that. With Smart Search, you can actually set up a saved search based on however many criteria you'd like, any of the criteria available in Advanced Search, and you can actually set up automatic alerts. So what BatchLeads is going to do is it's going to scan our database every single day for those characteristics that you care about in your advanced search. And we're going to notify you if we detect anything that comes up. So if there's a new pre-foreclosure, if there's a recent divorce, if a property that was on the MLS just had a canceled listing, every single day in your email inbox, you're going to get a summary of those properties. You don't have to log into BatchLeads to look for those. Those leads will come to you. And then you can then quickly jump in the platform, call them, text them, whatever you need to do. So this is super exciting. What else Smart List does for you too is it helps you again with list management. So if you have records that at one point made it to a list or within a saved search because they met some criteria, but they no longer meet that criteria, they'd just be stuck in your list up until now. But
taking
with
up
Smart
all
Search,
that space.
yeah, taking up that space, wasting your time when maybe in fact that it isn't pre-foreclosed anymore. So Smart Search is going to help you manage that list too and remove properties and remove records that no longer meet your search criteria, and it'll let you know which properties have been removed. As part of our new plans with 3.0 and our new packages, we have released something that is completely new in the space. It's this concept called Workspaces. So for many of you who have larger teams or maybe dispersed teams or dispersed agents, right now we support multiple users in BatchLeads, but it's logging into the same sort of account, right? So if I add you as a user to my BatchLeads account, yesterday before 3.0. You can get in, but you would see my safe searches, you would see my campaigns, my SMS history, which is fine, but you want your own independent instance, right? So you can manage your own lists, your own leads, run your own campaigns. Workspaces allows you to do that. So under our new team accounts, you can have multiple workspaces, each with multiple users. And each of those workspaces actually operates as its own almost independent BatchLeads account.
Literally.
So Landree, you want to pull that up and walk us through what that looks like?
Yeah, so and just to kind of reiterate what Phil was saying is, like, if Phil invited me as a team member beforehand, or even in a workspace, which I'll show kind of that difference, he can, as that owner of the account, manage a user's permissions and what they're able to view. Like, he could decide if I'm even able to text or even view list, stuff like that. So workspaces are completely different than adding users. You as an admin, if you had this, team plan in here, you could assign completely separate BatchLeads accounts to everybody that you're working with, so that they'll be able to keep their driving route separate, and like Phil said, everything else within the account, and build out their own team with the users. So it is very, very different. Let's just go ahead and assign something, and I'll show you how you can switch into that. As an admin, you can work out of anybody's workspace, manage it if you're just wanting to take a quick peek at what they're working on, but none of the other workspace users can log into yours or anybody else's for that matter. So really important to keep that in mind, that they won't be able to hop around like you're able to as the admin. So we'll just click to assign. Let's say that I'm going to invite Jenny to my account. I'm just going to fill this in if I can type today. And it's just going to assign the person to Jenny's workspace. It'll autofill that, so you can edit that if you want. And then you'll just go ahead and send them a confirmation or an invite to their email. And then once they get that, they'll be able to log in and then start using their account. They do have to accept it for you to be able to work out of their workspace, which is important. And then also you can decide how much usage they get in the account. So maybe John, he is going to be having multiple users or assistants working with him, and he'll add his own users in his workspace, and I give him more usage of property lead storage and monthly leads. Jenny's just getting started, she doesn't need as much. So you can always come in here as the admin and decide what they're going to be able to do within the account usage wise, which is big.
Yeah, not only can you partition the amount of monthly leads and the storage that each of the workspaces has under your account, but each of these workspaces actually can have their own independent billing for in-app purchases and campaigns as well. So the admin who owns the team plan account will just pay that annual subscription fee for all of the workspaces together. But if you'd like, each of the workspaces can have their own credit card or their own wallet balances to do skip tracing, to run campaigns. And so you can still have sort of a semblance of independent account management within those workspaces, while still, again, rolling up the annual subscription under one single account. So for those of you guys who have multiple BatchLeads accounts today, this is a no-brainer for you. Try out the workspaces, contact Sales CS, we'll get you set up, and this is going to make managing your team and your BatchLeads accounts much more simple.
Exactly. I think that's really big too, that you're bringing in that if you don't have a huge team, but you want to be able to do a ton within your account, it doesn't have to be with a bunch of other people. It could just be yourself and being able to manage a lot more and keep them in kind of separate workspaces. So I love that point too. So I also just kind of wanted to show how that will look and how easy it is for them to get in there, and then for you as the admin to switch. So we're just going to pretend I sent this over to Jenny. She's just going to go ahead and accept my invitation and click there to register. All of her information that I input earlier is filled out for her. She just has to go ahead and fill in the company name, the business type that she can choose from, and then her phone number. So we're just going to go ahead and click register. She can change her password as well. Once she's in there, she will add, just like Phil was bringing up earlier, how everybody has their own billing. She'll come in here, she'll add her own billing address, and then she'll be able to have her own wallet balance. So, and then she'll be also able to add her own users. So let's just add this and kind of show you the difference here between adding users, just to really reiterate.
And as Landree's adding the users here too, I do want to mention that our new team plans can actually support up to 200 users across 10 different workspaces. So this is for brokerages, for agents, for investment companies that have multiple teams. You can support multiple offices, multiple locations, multiple teams, or sales teams, marketing teams, however you want to distribute that, all under a single BatchLeads account now.
Okay, so now that Jenny has accepted my invite, she's now in her own workspace. You can see I'm in Jenny Smith's account up here just for this example. She has less options over here on the left. She has nothing in her wallet balance. She has no list in here. This is literally her own space. And me as the admin, once again, I can go and check up on what she's working on. I can pull my own lists in there. I can send my own text in her workspace, and she'll also be able to keep that all separate. Just one other thing to show here, the huge difference, if you're wondering, between users and workspaces, still in Jenny's account, I'm going to go to users, and let's say I wanted to invite Phil, the owner. Yeah, there you go. So if I want to bring Phil in here, I could give him all permissions, and I could limit that as well. So users do not have their own full access BatchLeads account. It really comes down to the owner of that workspace and what they decide they'd like them to work on. So if I have somebody that mostly just helps me text, or somebody that helps me manage lists, I might give them different permissions as users. And then finally, just to kind of tie that off, I'm going to log out of Jenny's account, and I'm going to go back to my regular account, or my admin one. Yeah. Let's see here. So now that I'm back in my admin account, you can see I'm not seeing anything here, and that's because I'm in Jenny's workspace. So if I go up to my name in the top right, I can just go to switch workspace, and I can go back to Jenny's in between the two, but John and Jenny can never visit each other's workspace. So really nice as the admin being able to work out of any of those and keep up to date on what everybody in your team is working on.
Basically like God mode, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah, cool. And this is a new concept. No one else in the space is doing this. So if you guys have feedback, and by the way, Jack, Jenny, Christina, I see your questions. Thank you for putting them in the Q&A. For anyone else who has questions, I'm seeing some pop up in the chat. If you could please make sure those get into the Q&A so we can go through the queue here in just a minute, that would be awesome. But if you guys have any feedback on Workspaces, we would love to hear it, any of your ideas that you have. But we look forward to you guys exploring this. Now let's talk a little bit about our new plans, our new packages, right? So tons of new features, tons of new capabilities, but how do you get access to these? First thing I want to say is that we're going to look at the new plans and packages here in just a second, but if you're not ready to make the leap into BatchLeads 3.0 and you want to keep your legacy plans at the prices that you have right now, you can absolutely do that. We are not going to increase prices on you. We're not going to force you into a new plan right now. So if you want to just stay where you're at, that is totally fine. Just know you can do that. Let's look at some of the new plans here. These are really exciting. We hope that you'll make the switch because we think that the value is just jam-packed in these new plans.
Absolutely.
One of the big things that's changed is we've totally gone away with add-ons and nickel and diming you, $20 extra for virtual, $50 extra for mail, $60 for SMS. All that's gone away, and we've just put it in these plans where everything is included. So our plans start now at $99 for a personal basic. If you go yearly, $79 per month. What do you get for that $79 per month? You get multiple users, you get your own workspace, 100,000 records of storage, 10,000 leads included per month. That used to be an add-on for extra, now it's included. All of the advanced search, things that you're used to, including all of our cache buyer filters, so you can not only find sellers, but also buyers. MLS data, of course, is included across the board. And what's really exciting about these $79 annual or $99 monthly plans is all of the virtual driving. And if you guys are familiar with Batch Driven, everything that you love about Batch Driven is now part of BatchLeads for as low as $79 a month if you go for those yearly plans. You guys tell me where else you can go to compete with that. I challenge you. It is the best value out there on the market, especially for those of you who are just getting started. You'll have all of the tools at your disposal to build lists, to virtually drive, to do campaigns, right? Now, to get the click to dial and SMS, you do need to step up into the Personal Plus plan, which is $239 a month on an annual. And we're really cranking it up in terms of the volumes here. So 500,000 records of storage. And when I say storage, this includes not only records that you add from our search, but also if you have other records that you want to upload and enrich in our system, you can do that as well. 15,000 leads per month on the Personal Plus plan. And on the Personal Plus, you basically unlock everything except for the Workspaces. So everything we reviewed and talked about today is included here in Personal Plus. And again, as you graduate plans and go to the higher tier plans, we give you discounts as well on your skip tracing, your postcards, your letters, mailers. Everything is discounted as you climb up the plans here. And then our team plans, which are annual only, start at $5.99 or $8.99 a month. That is billed annually, so you're paying for the year up front. But you get these awesome workspaces that we were just talking about, right? So up to 5 separate workspaces. So basically think of it as 5 accounts in one on the Team Basic plan, and 10 workspaces, so basically 10 accounts on the Team Plus plan. You can have up to 10 users per workspace on the Team Basic, and then up to 20 users per workspace on Team Plus. So 200 users, 10 different accounts for about $10,000 a year, which should make complete sense for you guys who are really doing it big and have multiple accounts. Now, we also really cranked up with the team plans that storage and those leads. So as you guys saw earlier, those are now shared. So you can distribute those amongst the different workspaces, however you see fit. On our team plans, anywhere from 1.5 million to 3 million records of storage, and then 75,000 to 150,000 monthly leads. If you guys are doing more than that, I think you're pulling your list strong and not using enough filters. But that should be plenty to support you and your teams, your multiple outbound sales teams across your company or across your team.
All right, guys, there you have it. We're super excited to hear your feedback. If you like this video, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel so we can keep creating you great educational content for free.
And if you have any questions about the all-new BatchLeads 3.0, reach out to sales, reach out to your customer success manager, leave us a comment below, and we'll get back to you. Let's get it, guys.